chat. It's Nicole here. I'm here again on Wednesday, and today's topic deals with stereotypes and what stereotypes really, really bother us personally about gender. There are so many stereotypes we can go into concerning gender. I picked a few that really get under my skin the most. One of the things that bothers me as far as stereotyping gender is color coding gender, and the assumption that depending on what genitals you were born with, you're going to be attached to a specific color, and that color is going to follow you your entire life. It's not just a childhood thing, it's a lifelong thing. Cisgendered women are supposed to like pink, cisgendered men are supposed to like blue, and damn it, you better put that on your child so that the rest of the society knows what gender that baby is or what gender that child is, because we don't want those queer gender questioning people in our society. At least that's what the larger society tells us. You don't relate to a color depending on what genitals you have. I mean, this is so basic. We really need to look a little bit deeper into things and not color code our children and not tell them that they're supposed to like a certain thing if they identify a certain way. Number one. Another stereotype that really, really bothers me is when, and not everyone feels this way, but I've heard this a lot, and maybe this is a southern religious type of thing, I'm not sure. But growing up, I was always taught that women are the weaker sex, and that if there's a disagreement with, they always talked about it in terms of a relationship or marriage, so a man and a woman, because, we can't have those same-sex marriages, that doesn't count. But I was told that if there was a disagreement, that men overruled women. That women could not possibly make an informed decision or a rational decision because they were too emotional. I can't imagine the thinking there. I mean, we're evolved. We don't have to think in these terms. Of course, each gender, or even people outside of the gender binary, have things to offer. And I think that we need to think of things in a more egalitarian way. And I think we need to think of things in terms of coexisting together and being able to reach an agreement based on logic and also, how we feel about the subject. I think there should always be room for discussion. If you can't find some kind of resolution, I do not think that one specific gender should have a right over the other to make that final decision. I think it needs to be a joint effort, and there is no weaker sex as far as decision making goes. I think that really bothers me, and that's really irritating, and that's not true. It's just simply not true. And it doesn't have to be. If there is a decision that needs to be made and both parties can't agree, let's have a discussion. Let's give it a few days to really think about it. Let's make lists. I mean, there's many things you can do besides saying, oh, you have a vagina? Oh, I'm going to make that decision. Thanks. I have a penis. You're done. Thanks for your input. My grandmother actually said that to me the last time I was there with her, that many times she was, so happy that my grandfather decided to take charge, and that, sometimes he listened to her, and that was all she could ask for. So that's something that I can't stand that. There, in my opinion, of course, there's no weaker sex. We're all equal, and I'm outside the gender binary, so I don't really see things in terms like weaker or stronger sex. I just don't look at it that way. Another one that annoys me, this is kind of on the other end of it, besides the weaker sex, that men have less emotional range than women. I don't think that is true. I don't think that that cisgendered males or trans guys have less emotional range than someone that's perhaps a trans woman or a genderqueer female-born person or whatever. I think that everyone has the ability to have a wide range of emotions and expression. I think that society teaches male-born assigned people that they shouldn't show those things. But from my experience, every kind of gender identity has huge, broad emotional range. And I think that it's incredibly simple-minded of us to think that men are less emotional just because they have a penis. I mean, I know that, you know, brain patterns in cisgendered men versus cisgendered women have shown to be different, but I still do not believe that they have less emotions, or that either, you know, one is going to be less or more logical. Like I was saying on Monday's video, you know, people are so surprised if a, you know, seemingly female presenting person is logical, and, you know, I don't know what people expect. I suppose people expect for female-born people to be in a ball in the corner crying. I'm not really sure, but it really does feel when I'm interacting with people that maybe don't look at things in a gender open type of way, when they think of things in the binary, it does seem like they stereotype men as being non-emotional and logical, and women being emotional and not logical, and kind of just off their hinges all the time or something. And that's just unfair to do. I mean, there's such a range of gender. And so to box things into two categories, non-emotional, emotional, you know, those kinds of things are just, there's really no place for that in the future, in my opinion. And I think that society needs to band together and say, you know, we're past this. You know, we can work together. Logical, emotional can work together, and we can make a better place together, regardless. And another thing that really bothers me about a specific stereotype is I feel that that there's a lot of male privilege when it comes to monogamy. And what I mean by that is that when a male-born or male-perceived person is non-monogamous with whoever they're with, they are excused from that, from being judged by larger society in some ways. I'm not saying that people don't call them an asshole or say they were wrong, but typically when people think of males, they think of testosterone, and they think that men have a higher sex drive than female-born people. I think that this is completely ridiculous, and I don't believe that men have a stronger or higher sex drive than all women. I think that it's different, but I don't think that it should be excused to be just because you have testosterone running through you. I don't think that non-monogamy should be excused if that's what the agreement is in the relationship, is to be monogamous. I myself am non-monogamous, although not necessarily actively non-monogamous at the moment, but it is always there, you know, as an option, and it's something that I think takes a lot of trust in a relationship, but I think can be healthy if you know, kind of everyone trusts and everyone has an understanding of what's going on and boundaries and such. That's another video. I think monogamy is way overrated, and I think that it's not a natural existence, and I think it breeds for a relationship to end. I do. I think that's part of the problem, but again, that's another video, and I'll stop ranting about monogamy right now. I'll make a personal video about monogamy. But anyway, I do feel that that non-monogamy in a relationship that's supposed to be monogamous is more excused with male-born individuals, and I think that's completely unfair, and it really, really bothers me. That's all of my stereotypes that bother me that I could think of, like my top 4. But I will see you guys next week.